This week on the announcers table, we're talking WrestleMania prediction.
You forgot the most important comeback, though, the comeback of Primo Colon.
What's going on, Wrestle Geeks? Welcome to another episode of the announcers table. I'm your host, B-Rye. With me, as always, the Canadian screwjob himself, Hertz Gewurz.
I'm pretty sure I talked over that open again.
You probably did, but ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have Hertz Gewurz, we have a special guest today, the art man himself, Sebastian Bonet.
Yo, what's up? Wrestle Geeks.
What's going on, guys? So this week is the final episode, video episode of the announcers table. If you guys don't know, we are going straight to podcast form. So starting after WrestleMania, you guys can catch us on Google Play, iTunes, subscribe for free, and we'll also be throwing the audios on the Geeks Unlimited YouTube channel. Now, going on with today's show, I love you, man. Thanks for the response on the WWE Network gift card giveaway. The other winner, Haywood. I really don't know. Please respond back to us. If not, the prize is just gonna not go to anyone, and just I love money is just gonna be the winner. Now, going on to this week's episode of the announcers table, guys. It's WrestleMania week. It's supposed to be the most exciting week in wrestling, and it hasn't been.
No, we've had 3 or 4 straight weeks of just what you would normally call go-home shows, right? Weeks where guys are doing their best not to get hurt. The storylines are all set. We've basically known the entire WrestleMania card, for a month now, longer for most of it. And, they've just not been able to advance any storylines. I'm really looking forward more to the Monday after WrestleMania more than I am for WrestleMania at this point.
That's usually the best. That's usually the best show. Is the Monday after WrestleMania. That's when the crowd is still live. I don't know. This weekend is going to be Wrestling Crazy Weekend. I'm not sure if you guys have saw the real beefed up weekend. There's also a non-WWE event which we see TNA Impact versus Lucha Underground happening Friday. Then we go into NXT TakeOver on Saturday, WrestleMania on Sunday, and then Raw on Monday. So it is a wrestling weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's WrestleMania week, and it's supposed to be the most exciting. It's supposed to be the Super Bowl for Wrestle Geeks out there. Now, as my co-host, love to say in the beginning of the opening, we had a Primo sighting tonight on SmackDown, which I thought was pretty hilarious and pretty random.
I love that they didn't even talk about it, too. Like, Primo Colon hasn't been on TV in a year? I think it's been a year. And he just shows up, and nobody talks about it, and he's not going to come back again. And that's it. That's just like the definition of go-home shows. Like, we don't want to risk anybody important doing anything important. Let's just have these unimportant people show up and throw them around, and let's just nobody get hurt and go into WrestleMania safe.
I heard they had R-Truth on deck, too, backstage.
Well, if he was backstage, he was backstage. I really don't know. Now, guys, before we get into our WrestleMania predictions for this last video episode, I want to talk about the whole Monday night segment, which was the opening between Angle and Rousey and McMahon and Triple H. Now, my expectations for Ronda Rousey was here. After that segment, they're like down here now. She did not sell that table slam at all. The entire time she's holding her stomach and looking at Stephanie McMahon. First of all, you don't do that. You're supposed to be technically knocked out or hurt. Like, she just sitting there like, oh, yeah, Stephanie, yeah. Like, and then, shout out to Stephanie. Like I said, perfect villain, perfect heel. And she carried Ronda Rousey with that promo. And I loved how she stated, Ronda, we all know how you handle losses. I mean, I think that was just a perfect low blow for that segment.
That was a lot of fun. I feel like every time Ronda Rousey talks, she's lowering our expectations for her because she's not good at it yet. She's spent a lot of time. She's great at, mean face. When she's angry and she looked like she wanted to tear Mandy Rose's arm out of her socket. That looked really cool. That was cool. That was Ronda Rousey at her best. What we've seen with her trying to deliver promos, that giggly schoolgirl stuff she's doing at the top of the stage when she comes out for her song, none of that works for her. And they're not doing her any favors putting her on a stage with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon talking over her for 20 minutes.
You know what's funny about you guys talking about that? You think about this. Look at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't talk on the mic.
Mm-mm.
He has a mouthpiece. He has Paul Heyman. If they essentially make Ronda Rousey a female version of Chris Benoit and let her skill dictate, her ring action and everything, like her character, I think that they would get further with her character. She needs a mouthpiece because not anyone could just pick up that mic and talk.
Well, the rumor is they may pair up Heyman and Rousey. I think it would be a smart move. I mean, not to take anything away from Rousey, but I mean, even if Brock Lesnar was to grab a mic, he still has a better promo than Ronda Rousey does, and he's not really great at promos, but he'll still have a better promo. But like I said, she didn't sell the going through the table. The only good part about that promo is when she asked Stephanie which hand does she write with, and it got that, and it got a crowd reaction when she said, I just want to know,
It did.
I'm gonna break it off, and I want to make sure you still sign my checks.
It was a great line, but of course she blew the punchline, right? Like she couldn't finish it. She said, "What hand do you write with?" Because I want to, and then the crowd just started cheering. And
Well,
we all knew where she was going with that. Yeah, and it's nice of the crowd to do that, but it's not going to be long before she's getting what chance, and the crowd's turning on her. They have to they have to give her a mouthpiece. They can't have her keep burying herself with these promos.
So going on, I want to move on to our WrestleMania predictions.
Sure.
Apparently, Undertaker didn't respond to John Cena, so we're not really sure if we're going to get that or not. So we're going to leave that up in the air as far as a match going on. Now, we have a lot of championship matches. We have 3 matches on the pre-show. We have both Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys seen the Battle Royals in previous years, but usually the Battle Royals jumpstart a up-and-coming superstar, into like maybe mid-card status, up to superstar status, depending on who you are. So for this year, who do you guys have as the Battle Royal winner?
I think for the men's Battle Royal, they're going to do something weird. It's going to be something like Matt Hardy winning it for no reason.
Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't even be disappointed. He is, even though he is an older wrestler, he's not a part-timer. Even though he's an older wrestler, he's not a part-timer.
Yeah, he's on the show every week.
So
I think they're trying to do something with Matt Hardy's character, and it'll be pretty interesting. I think it's going to be like a return of Bray Wyatt as something else, and it'll be the two of them facing off at the end, and it'll be Matt Hardy winning the men's Battle Royal.
And what about you there, Sebastian?
I mean, I gotta agree with it hurts. There's 2 possibilities looking into this. You got Matt Hardy, and then you have Dolph Ziggler. But also too, you also have Ty Dillinger. I don't think Ty Dillinger is going to win it. I would be surprised if they give it to him because he's very popular amongst the fans. Perfect 10 since his days from NXT. But Matt Hardy most likely will be the number 1 choice because of the Woken gimmick. Everyone knows that transition from the Independents from the Broken gimmick, and it just for him to get the win over Bray Wyatt to go into WrestleMania, he's on a hot streak right now. Not to give it to Matt, that would be just character suicide for the Woken gimmick.
Well, I don't think it would be character suicide because again, he is an older performer. I'm gonna go on the limb here and I'm gonna say NXT superstar takes this, and my pick is gonna be Adam Cole. Adam Cole is on fire right now down in NXT. He is currently scheduled for a ladder match for the North American Championship, which is a new title for NXT. But I see Adam Cole coming into that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I see him taking it. We've seen that in the past with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was still in NXT, and he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So we have 2 for Matt Hardy, and Sebastian also said Dolph, and I'm saying Adam Cole. Now let's move on to the women's. The women's, I'm guessing there's going to be some NXT superstars coming up as well. I'm not sure about any legends. I would like to see some legends. Who do you guys have for the women's?
If I'm gonna pick, and if they bring her, I'm gonna go with Shayna Baszler. But if not, I want to give it to the members of the Riot Squad.
Ooh, okay.
I was thinking the same thing. It was either going to be the Riot Squad or Absolution. So I was thinking probably Mandy Rose to take the women's.
I mean, I love both picks. They're up and coming factions and superstars. But I would like to see one of the established women take this. I'm going with Becky Lynch. She needs this more than anybody else. She's been kind of like Bayley, but finally Bayley's getting a push to where her and Sasha are finally breaking up. But I would like to see Becky Lynch actually win this women's battle royal. She needs something to boost up her career at this current stage right now.
Actually, I mean to continue on. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Guys. Sorry, guys.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of... Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of Bayley, like, I can't... I'm really disappointed that she's not getting a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. That Bayley-Sasha Banks feud should have been blown off at WrestleMania. It would have been perfect for the card, the way that it's set up, to have a grudge match like that. Somewhere in the middle of the card after, as a cool down after a championship match. The two of them worked really hard all year and for several years, and they really deserved a spot one-on-one at WrestleMania, not to be thrown into the middle of a battle royal with, 30 other people.
And on the pre-show.
Yeah, and stuck on the pre-show, no less.
I mean, I agree with you, but yet, like I said in a previous episode, they have backstage heat. So, when you have backstage heat, of course you're not going to get what you want. So, they're going to have to redeem themselves. Now, let's move forward to the Cruiserweight Championship. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Cruiserweights. But Cedric Alexander, he is a bright spot in this Cruiserweight division. And I see him walking away with the title. What do you guys have?
Cedric, all the way.
I like Mustafa Ali. I think he's really good. I think they're going to play the hard luck card on Cedric Alexander. He's had a ton of chances now and a lot of weird stuff that sort of happened to him on his road to winning the championship. And while, it makes sense to give it to him at WrestleMania, I think it makes more sense to make him continue to work for it and have him, come up short a couple more times before they finally put the strap on him.
I agree. Okay. Now, let's move on. We have the Triple Threat Tag Team match for SmackDown, which is the Uso, Bludgeon Brothers, and the New Day for the titles. I see the Bludgeon Brothers walking away with the titles. I mean, I think everybody's tired of seeing the Usos and the New Day. Even though the New Day, they're still relevant, the Usos are still relevant, but I think it's time to take the straps off the Usos.
Sure, and it'll be nice to see them stop trading the titles back and forth. I would like to see the Bludgeon Brothers win it. I don't think they will. I think this is the Usos' first time on the main show at WrestleMania. I think they've been loyal to the company and they're part of wrestling family. I think the Usos are going to walk away with the titles at WrestleMania.
I'm going to probably have to agree with Hurts on that one too, only because I can see that that's the writing on the wall that they're going to give it to the Usos. I would love to see the New Day, but to go back, piggyback what you said, Brian, it would probably make sense to give it to the Bludgeon Brothers since they haven't held it. But seeing how they did free show tag teams back in the day and still do them, they don't really give them titles. They're just for show. But reason I would want the Bludgeon Brothers is because I feel like if they win, you create this whole Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, and Dudley Boys type of atmosphere again, because you have the three top teams right there. This will help boost the Bludgeon Brothers if they give it to them to the top and have a feuding tag team of three tag teams that can just top the feuds and everything.
I mean, I like that idea of yours. I mean, like me and Diverse says, SmackDown has the better tag team division. So, I mean, that's something that we can definitely see in the future. Now moving on, we have a fatal four-way for the United States title, which is also a SmackDown match. It's Rusev, Jinder, Randy Orton, and Bobby Roode. I'm going Rusev Day.
It's
I mean, he got
absolutely
added to this match. I see him walking out of WrestleMania with the United States title.
WWE loves to do that where they add somebody to the match at the last minute. That person winds up winning. Also, I mean, did you guys know that WrestleMania is happening on Rusev Day? It's perfect.
Yeah, it's happening on Rusev Day.
That Fatal 4-Way is tough because you have two fan favorites. First of all, they gave Randy Orton the title on the technicality, nothing against Orton and his skill and everything. They definitely want to give him that, that notch that he's held that title. I want to pick both Rusev and Roode. I want those to be the two winners to come out the match. Nothing against Jinder. He did well with the world title. But I feel Bobby Roode and Rusev are the ones who need that win. First of all, the glorious one is going to be my top pick, Rusev being number 2. Sorry, Rusev, love you, but I mean, come on, it's glorious.
I love that Rusev is the only person calling Bobby Roode Bob. I love it, and the two of them are going to have a great feud together, regardless of which one wins. If Bob Roode wins or if Rusev wins, it's the two of them are going to be feuding coming out of WrestleMania, and it's going to be glorious.
I think that would be an awesome feud, Rusev and Bobby Roode, just those two, and not for nothing. You look at both their past work; these guys can deliver a feud. Bobby Roode, you see his old independent days. Rusev when he was a heel and everything. I think those two would gel together perfectly.
I agree, and thank you for your 2 cents there, sir. Now moving on, we're going to the Raw Tag Team title match, which is the Bar versus Braun Strowman.
Braun and Brains Strowman, as we saw on Raw.
By the way, I love that promo. I thought that promo was awesome.
I don't know what they're. I think WWE creative realized that they don't really have anything in the Raw Tag Team division, and they were like, let's just have some fun. So I like that idea. I hope that, Braun Strowman's tag partner is like a celebrity or something who just never tags in and never does anything, and it's just Braun Strowman versus the Bar with, somebody standing at ringside, and that's it. And obviously Braun Strowman's going to win that match.
Well, the rumor is that his tag team partner may be Elias, and I think that would be an awesome tag team in a way. And Braun Strowman over the last year, he's just catapulted to the spotlight. He became this guy who was there with the Wyatt family to now this big superstar. Is like he can carry his own, but it will be interesting chemistry. I would have loved to see the Bar take on Dash and these guys that came up from NXT, but they got injury in the revival. But Braun Strowman's going to come out on top because I think they want to give Sheamus a break.
That's true. I mean, if Sheamus and Cesaro were more healthy, I would say that it would make sense to have them keep the title, just because Braun Strowman needs to be challenging for the Universal Championship or the WWE Championship. Like, that needs to be his next level. Beneath him at this point. But yeah, they need to get Sheamus and Cesaro off TV for a little while, because those guys have been killing it for a long time, and they deserve a break.
I totally agree. I do see Braun walking out with the title, so my pick is also going to be Braun. But I think his tag team partner might be, and this is another rumor, it might be Bray Wyatt. They may be teaming back up again.
That'd be wonderful.
And I mean, that would make a great team. Now let's move forward, guys, to one of my matches that I'm looking for. One of my favorite matches I'm looking forward to is a triple threat IC title match. We've said this before. Miz has brought prestige to this title. He's been Superstar of the Year. He's carried the company for the entire year. But I see Seth Rollins walking out as IC champion, and then him feuding with Finn Balor. I would love to see that feud revived. I mean, every time they're in the ring together, their matches are like gold. Those two, they gel very well together. So my pick for the IC title is going to be Seth Rollins, because, Maurice just gave birth and the Miz needs a break. He needs to spend time with his family. Wow. Tough crowd.
I was trying to let Sebastian go.
You're tagged, brother. I'm tagging you in this one.
I like I mean, it looks to me like WWE wants Finn to win this. It looks to me like he's sort of like the house choice, and they finally have faith in him not to get hurt again. But I would really like to see The Miz come out and take the mantle of longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. That's the kind of record that's very important to the WWE and to the WWE superstars. And I think as a reward for, all the work that Miz has put in since WrestleMania last year and even before that, I think he deserves it for his work. So that's who I'd like to see win, but it looks like Finn Balor is going to be taking it.
All right. What about you, Bonet? You got anything?
I'm gonna go with Finn. He's the one factor in that match that he's the one guy in that match who needs that win. Seth Rollins can bounce back in any title scene. He delivers great matches. He most likely will be catapulted in the world scene at some point, or universal scene. The Miz, like I said, he needs a break right now. Obviously, yes, they love their records to break, but he just had a baby. And also, too, The Miz is always awesome, too, when he is chasing someone, not only holding the title, chasing and helping boost another talent. Balor needs this because his first run as the Universal Champion, when he got that injury that hurt him, I feel like it should be Balor. That's my pick.
All right, not a problem. So we're going to go on to the tag team, I'm going to say superstar match, which is Angle, Rousey, McMahon, and Triple H. Of course, they're not going to have Rousey lose her first match at Mania. This is probably the most predictable match on the card. I don't see Triple H or Stephanie winning. What I do see is both of them being put into submissions and tapping out at the same time.
Yeah. That's sort of where they're leading you on this, but and I'm not going to say that I think this is going to happen, but just to since we all basically agree on what's probably going to happen, what about the idea of a heel turn by Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania turning on Kurt Angle, right? Like having him in the awesome ring, right?
I think that would boost up her career.
Hip toss him into a pedigree. And then have the match end that way. And while, that's a loss for her, it's clearly, she double-crossed Kurt Angle.
She double-crossed him, and she just did what's best for business.
Exactly. She, and just sort of shrug, mean face, and, they signed my checks. And then just have her be like Stephanie McMahon's enforcer for a while.
You know what? I like that idea, and I didn't think about that, and I'm kind of jealous.
Ronda the Business Rousey. There you go.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
You want to know what? My prediction is Sting's going to come out from the crowd and beat Triple H with the bat.
Now, let's go to one of the two dream matches that we're getting. Before I forget, we got Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. Me personally, I think Nia's going to squash Alexa Bliss. And finally get her WrestleMania moment and finally get to hold a women's championship. I mean, if you've been watching during the weeks, the promos between her and Alexa Bliss have been very hard-hitting because they've been talking about her weight, how she's overweight, how she's big. For somebody to endure all that type of punishment, all that type of verbal abuse, you have to pull the trigger on Nia Jax at this WrestleMania.
Absolutely. She deserves the win. She deserves the championship here. It makes sense. It's going to be a great match, too, because Alexa Bliss is an excellent performer and consistently gets the best out of her opponents. And, Nia is just, she's unstoppable in the ring. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Nia Jax is on fire.
And I want to point this out now, and I'll point it out again later in the show. We have two... this is obviously a first in WrestleMania history. We have two one-on-one women's championship matches. Not like one of their weird battle royals, not like a six-woman tag or a six-woman, fatal six-way, fatal four-way, whatever.
Or
we haven't had. Yeah, but we haven't had even in the modern era of women's wrestling, we haven't had just two one-on-one straight up wrestling matches for the championship, and that's big, and that's one. It's great that they're doing that, and the 4 performers that they have doing it, you couldn't pick 4 better. So
and shout out to the women who are in these matches. Shout out to all the women in WWE who started this revolution. And hopefully at WrestleMania 35 we get the first ever main event, which is, the women's single main event. Hopefully we get that next year at WrestleMania.
Yeah, probably Asuka versus Charlotte too.
Or Asuka versus Ronda Rousey.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax match. I feel like they have to give it to Nia, only because I feel like if they don't, she's gonna flounder around that mid card and not be a threat. I want Alexa Bliss to win, but I feel like Nia needs to be the one to be the winner in this match, because again, she's a monster character that she has behind her, and if she doesn't win, it's, to me, I'll call it the Ryback effect. When Ryback was supposed to have that win over Mark Henry, and they gave Mark Henry the win over Ryback, it's like, look where his career kind of went. I feel like if Nia loses, it's gonna be downhill.
And the crazy thing is, I was there live at that WrestleMania, because that was at WrestleMania 29, and that was just horrible. Horrible. So, guys, let's move on to the dream matches. Number 1, Asuka versus Charlotte. Asuka versus Charlotte. The Queen versus the Empress. Title versus Streak. What do you guys think?
Sebastian, what do you think? I can't tell who you think when you think Charlotte's gonna win.
You hear me? You heard Asuka?
Listen. I'm a fan of both women. Charlotte is awesome. Listen, if anybody deserves to break the streak, it is Charlotte. If anybody deserves to break the streak, it is Charlotte. Do we think she's gonna break the streak? No. But I can tell you one thing. I believe this match is gonna tear down the house.
It is. Charlotte, I feel, will be the one to eventually break the streak if it's not Ronda Rousey. And I don't want it to be Ronda Rousey.
None of us do.
I do want it to be Charlotte Flair, only because how she's been the female wrestler to hold as many titles close to her dad, and I feel like that would be a significant win for Charlotte to win the title from Asuka, in order to increase the number of titles she's had to the whole Flair dynasty. But Asuka, WrestleMania, that's it. And I feel like the rematch goes into SummerSlam. Charlotte breaks the streak at SummerSlam.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think Charlotte winning at WrestleMania is the way to go here. I think Asuka's been great, but Charlotte is the face of the women's division in WWE, and if you're going to try to promote the women's division, you want Charlotte on top, and you want Charlotte Flair winning on the biggest stage possible.
Of course. So like I said, it's going to be a tough one. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to this match. You have 2 of the greatest women's superstars going head to head. Like I said before, Streak versus title, Empress versus Queen. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Asuka says nobody's ready for her, and like Charlotte said tonight, Asuka, maybe you're not ready for me, and it's true. These two have never been face to face until tonight, which is the mixed match challenge, which we're now watching, because we already know how that's gonna happen.
Oh, I saw it.
I saw it also. It was the Miz one.
Well, no, she gave Bobby Roode a nice little kick in the back.
Awesome. I kicked Bobby Roode in the head. That was great.
So, like I said, it's gonna be a great match. And I'm predicting it for a match of the year. Hopefully. Now, before we get into the next dream match, we have a match that's gonna be in between, which is the return of Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
I know.
Who wins this? Does Daniel Bryan take a loss on his first WrestleMania back?
Daniel Bryan, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? Daniel Bryan on the side of a McMahon. Like, I know I predicted a double cross for earlier in the show with Ronda Rousey. I need Daniel Bryan to kick Shane McMahon in the head. Like, I need for that double cross to happen.
I want that. I want the Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn connection.
Right?
I feel like they would be a perfect heel stable. I mean, Daniel Bryan, you have a lot to work with. You could be like, WWE kept me on the sidelines, the McMahons and everything. They kept me down. You have a lot. Yeah, you have a lot with that, and it could be into a great storyline and lead into a lot of great matches.
Yes.
Well, we'll see. I mean, right now I'm on a limb. It's not one of my favorite matches on the card. But I'm on a limb. I'm just gonna go with Sami Zayn. No heel turn from DB, but I'm saying Sami Zayn and KO wins because you can't just have those two be out of SmackDown. They're actually entertaining for SmackDown, and just to have them go to Raw it's a heavy blow to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So so I'm going with KO and Sami Zayn. Now moving forward to dream match number 2, Nakamura versus the phenomenal AJ Styles.
I don't even care who wins, right? It doesn't even matter who wins.
it doesn't
This match is just going to be great. This match is it's going to be everything we were hoping for. The build has been really good. It's one of the few matches where the build has made sense throughout the several weeks that we've been waiting for it. These two work really well together. They're both excellent in the ring. This match, if Charlotte Asuka doesn't bring the house down, this match is bringing the house down. So
well, you're gonna have a match in between Asuka and Charlotte. A little cool down match and somewhere between there.
Well, yeah.
That's gonna be the Hall of Fame. That's gonna be the Hall of Fame.
I want to see Nakamura win the title.
Sure.
I think they're gonna give it to Nakamura because I think AJ needs a break because they say some nursing some injuries. Love AJ Styles again, follow the guy's career. Not many people know this is Nakamura versus AJ 2, and it's on the biggest stage of them all because it happened in Japan.
Nakamura and AJ was at Wrestle Kingdom 12. For you guys who didn't think I knew that.
We're picking on you now. But no, it's exciting to see that WWE is getting behind these two guys. Mm-hmm. These two are going to tear down the house. As much as we say Charlotte Flair and Asuka may be match of the year, I really think match of the year is going to go to AJ and Nakamura. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And also, it was kind of not much of a throwaway segment because it was John Cena talking in the middle of the ring, but he, gave his nod of approval to AJ Styles there, calling him the best in-ring performer that he's ever seen. That's a big compliment coming from John Cena. I know people don't like John Cena for what he's done and sort of who he is, but him coming out in the middle of the ring and saying that on WWE TV, that's a huge deal. And it shows that WWE is behind these guys, like you said.
And not for nothing, AJ deserves it. The guy was part of that WCW group, part of Air Raid. We're going to go a little history lesson here. Then he was in CNA for a while, went to New Japan. Now he's on the main stage. He deserves that. AJ deserves everything. But I'm going to go with Nakamura.
I think we all go with Nakamura. And like I said in previous episodes, shout out to WWE for treating their Japanese superstars like actual superstars. Even though these two superstars, which is Asuka and Nakamura, are not very fluent in English, they're still treating them as superstars. Not like from the Attitude Era where they were treating the Japanese superstars as gimmicks.
Funaki, Yoshitatsu.
Yeah, Michinoku. They had Kai and Tai, which was just horrible. Shout out to WWE for finally pulling the trigger. And then, unfortunately, the main event. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Now, WWE, if you guys do watch our show, from now on, do not say the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to main event WrestleMania, because that is not the case. If you're going to shove Roman Reigns down our throats and put him in the main event of the grandest sporting event that you guys can have, then the Royal Rumble means absolutely nothing anymore. Because what is the main focus of the Royal Rumble? You main event WrestleMania. That's the main focus.
Shifted that to you get a match against the champion of your choice, right?
No, we can go back. We can rewind the Royal Rumble and say that they're gonna main event WrestleMania. But no, you're giving it to Roman Reigns, and this upsets me. I would rather have Nakamura and AJ close out the show.
Yeah.
Instead of Brock
that would be a
Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the 50th time.
Especially because Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns can't have, you know, a 35-minute thrilling match, right? Like, that match needs to be between 14 and 20 minutes at the very longest. But, you know, Shinsuke and AJ is going to go 40, 45 minutes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was an hour.
That match should absolutely be closing out the show. And you use Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for 15 minutes to really, you know, just pump up the crowd with a ton of energy. And those two will go at it. You know, like, Brock Lesnar is okay with actually getting hit in the face, and so is Roman Reigns. Like, that's when Roman Reigns is at his best in the ring with someone who's going to actually punch him, and that's what's going to happen. So I think this is going to be good, and I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns is going to win, and I'm pretty sure that might be the end of Brock Lesnar in WWE, and I'm kind of okay with that at this point. But you know, that's sort of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for it to be a short match, and just let them get the high energy things in and get out.
Yeah, they need to give it their all. This is nut up or shut up time for the rematch of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. We're not going to take away. I'm not going to take away from anything from these guys. They go in day out. They do this work. Obviously, Brock Lesnar got his specialty career. He's been a UFC fighter. These guys, this is the biggest stage, the granddaddy of them all. The card is really stacked.
Very stacked.
And I know, and they need to. This is the time where Roman Reigns needs to go out there and give it all. We need to see Brock Lesnar go out there and give it them all. I mean, not to say that these guys don't, but again, Roman Reigns has been pushed a lot by WWE. They obviously, there's no secret, they want this guy to be the face of the company. Not going to say I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns because, again, Roman Reigns, I love him as a heel. I feel like they need to. He's kind of in that in between for me right now. He's a little bit of a heel, like that he gets that little cockiness, but also too, he's like, you know, I'm the dog here. I'm the big dog here.
Well, I'm gonna go left field, and I'm gonna say Brock Lesnar retains.
You should retire right now.
I'm not gonna retire. I'm gonna say he retains, and we get and then on the next night on Monday Night Raw, we have Paul Heyman talk about how they defeated Roman Reigns, and we get Bobby Lashley.
Oh,
because that's what this is leading to. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I'm not a big fan of either guy, but that's the rumor going around.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't listen. I don't mind that Brock is a part-timer. I don't mind that I don't see the title every Monday on Raw. If Roman wins it, he wins it. But like I said, I'm going left field, and I'm saying Brock Lesnar retains. You stated this in a previous episode, Gerverts. Too many title changes in one show.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere down the line, a few of these titles are going to have to be retained.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm picking Brock Lesnar as one of them.
Yeah, I don't want to see a card of Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, we're going to get nothing but suplexes. I'm tired of the suplex machine right now. I mean, really? Don't get me wrong. I've gotten a little tired of it. I mean, you know, you had Scott Steiner doing that in his whole routine at one point. But yeah, I mean, they look beautiful when he's throwing people in the air. Don't get me wrong. Like, ooh, that's a nice suplex, especially when he threw Ambrose that one time. Yeah. I think you would get a better match out of Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns if that was going to be the case.
Hey, we got something there. Well, guys, these are our WrestleMania predictions. Remember, guys, our last video, let us know what your predictions are going to be for WrestleMania. As always, I'm your host, B-Rye. Sebastian, thank you for coming out on today's show. We know how busy of a man you are, and you took the time out to join us today. Canadian Screwjob, you know?
Yeah.
Are you sad that this is our last video episode?
I'm just glad that you finally took my advice. I told you have a face for radio, so let's go there.
Well, now it's going to be the Gerverts and B-Rye show. How about that?
I'm with it. It was way it should have been this whole time.
I'm still the host, though. Remember that. Well, remember Wrestle Geeks? Look for us on Google Play, iTunes, and hopefully we see you after WrestleMania.
See you at WrestleMania.